You've set your intentions, you've visualized, you've believed with all your heart, yet nothing happens. You repeat affirmations, watch endless manifestation videos, and still your reality doesn't change. What if the real reason your manifestations don't work has nothing to do with your desire, but with a hidden piece of the puzzle that almost no one talks about? There is a missing link, a secret bridge between thought and reality that most manifestation teachings overlook. And decades ago, one man, Jacobo Grinberg, uncovered what might be that missing link. His research didn't just talk about positive thinking, it explored the actual structure of consciousness itself. Jacobo Grinberg was a Mexican neuroscientist and psychologist who dared to blend science with spirituality. He studied how our mind interacts with reality, and what he discovered could completely change the way you see manifestation. Through years of research, Grinberg found that our brain doesn't simply observe reality, it creates it. Every thought, every belief, and every feeling becomes part of a larger field, a web of energy that connects all consciousness together. But here's where it gets fascinating and unsettling. Grinberg believed that most people fail to manifest because their internal field is out of sync with this universal network. In simple terms, you might be sending one signal to the universe while holding an opposite vibration inside yourself. You say you want abundance, but deep down you feel lack. You affirm love, but fear rejection. You visualize success, but believe it's impossible. The universe doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you are. And that's what Jacobo Grinberg called the synergic process, the alignment between your internal consciousness and the external world. Without that alignment, manifestation becomes just empty words. With it, reality begins to bend in your favor, sometimes in ways that seem almost magical. In this video, we'll uncover the real reason your manifestations don't work and how Grinberg's hidden discoveries can help you finally bridge that gap. You'll learn what truly creates reality, why belief alone isn't enough, and how to activate the level of consciousness where thoughts become tangible experiences. This isn't just another think positive message, it's about understanding the science of inner coherence, the way your mind's structure interacts with the fabric of existence itself. Stay until the end, because what you're about to discover might shift how you view every failure, every delay, and every nothing's working moment in your life. Grinberg's work remains mysterious, even controversial. Some say his disappearance was linked to the power of what he discovered. Others believe he simply went too far into the unknown. But one thing is clear, his ideas hold the key to unlocking the next level of human potential. Welcome to Awakened Synchronicity, where science meets spirit and consciousness becomes creation. If you're ready to understand the truth behind manifestation and step into your real power, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned, because what comes next may change everything you thought you knew about reality. Before we talk about the missing link that Jacobo Grinberg revealed, let's first look at what most manifestation teachings get wrong. Everywhere you look, the advice sounds the same. Set your intention, visualize your dream, repeat your affirmations, and feel good as if it's already done. It sounds simple, almost magical, like a universal formula for success. But if you've ever tried it, you probably know how quickly the excitement fades when reality doesn't change. People are told to picture their goals every morning, to write them down, to imagine the perfect life, to hold that image until it becomes real. Some are told to repeat powerful words, I am wealthy, I am loved, I am successful. Others are told to raise their vibration, to feel good no matter what. And while all of these methods have some truth, they only scratch the surface. They work temporarily, but for many, the results don't last. Why? Because the process stops at the level of the conscious mind. You see, intention and visualizing activate the surface of awareness, the thoughts you can control. But Jacobo Grinberg's research suggests that our consciousness is layered much deeper than that. The surface mind is only a small part of a much larger field that shapes our perception of reality. So when you say, I am abundant, but deep down still feel scarcity, your inner field remains unchanged. Your words float on the surface while your subconscious radiates a completely different frequency. And the universe, or what Grinberg called the synergic field, responds to that deeper vibration, not the surface one. That's why many people can do all the right steps, vision boards, affirmations, scripting, and still feel stuck. They're trying to reprogram their reality from the outside in, but Grinberg's work points to something far more powerful. Reality is not being projected onto you, it's being generated through you. Your consciousness isn't a receiver of experiences, it's a creator of them. And if your internal structure, your beliefs, emotions, and self-image doesn't match your desire, the field cannot sustain that new reality. Think about it this way. Imagine you plant a seed, but never change the soil. You can water it, talk to it, even visualize it blooming. But if the ground is dry and rocky, the seed can't grow. The same is true with manifestation. Your intention is the seed, but your inner state is the soil. Most manifestation advice only focuses on planting, not transforming the ground it grows in. Grinberg believed that this is why so many people experience short bursts of progress, followed by disappointment. The conscious mind declares what it wants, but the unconscious field remains in its old patterns. The person keeps pushing with more affirmations, more visualizations, but the resistance doesn't disappear, it grows. Soon the person begins to doubt the entire process, thinking maybe manifestation doesn't work for me. But in truth, it's not about luck or skill, it's about depth. You can't simply think your way into a new life. You have to become the person whose life naturally attracts those outcomes. Grinberg's studies showed that the human brain and consciousness form patterns of energy that connect directly with the structure of the external world. When these patterns are coherent, when thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are aligned, reality adjusts almost effortlessly, but when they're in conflict, the signal becomes scattered. The field can't reflect a clear image back to you because your consciousness is sending mixed messages. So when most manifestation teachers say, just visualize and believe, they're missing the essence of what Grinberg discovered. Visualization without alignment is like trying to tune a radio to a station you don't believe exists. You can twist the knob all you want, but you'll only hear static. Real manifestation starts when your inner signal, your emotional, mental, and energetic frequency matches the reality you wish to experience. This is the point where the surface tools end and true creation begins. Grinberg's work invites us to move beyond the mind's imagination and into direct alignment with consciousness itself, to stop performing rituals and start embodying the vibration of the outcome. Because the universe isn't responding to what you picture for a few minutes a day, it's responding to who you are in every moment. Most people think of manifestation as a simple mental exercise. You set your intention, visualize your dream, repeat your affirmations, and try to feel good. But Jacobo Grinberg saw something much deeper. He believed that what we call reality is not an external fixed thing that we observe. Instead, it is something our consciousness creates through a constant interaction with an invisible field of energy and information. According to Grinberg's theory, everything that exists, thoughts, emotions, even physical objects, emerges from a universal field he called the lattice or matrix. This matrix is like a vast ocean of consciousness, where every drop affects the whole. The brain, through its electrical and energetic patterns, acts as a kind of transmitter and receiver within this matrix. It doesn't simply perceive reality, it constructs it by shaping and distorting the information it receives from this universal field. This means that reality isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. Every thought, every feeling, every belief sends a wave into that energetic matrix, shaping what you later call real life. From this perspective, manifestation is not about forcing something to appear, it's about learning how to align your consciousness with the underlying field that produces your experiences. When you try to manifest something, say abundance, love, or peace, you are interacting with this invisible field. But if your internal state isn't coherent, if your emotions and beliefs contradict your desires, your signal becomes fragmented. The universe responds, but it mirrors your mixed energy, not just your wish. You may get small results or temporary progress, but not the full experience you envisioned. This is where Grinberg's missing link comes in. Internal alignment. Internal alignment means that your inner world, your thoughts, feelings, and self-image are all moving in the same direction. It's the harmony between what you want and what you truly believe is possible. When your internal field is aligned, your consciousness interacts cleanly with the universal lattice and the outer world begins to shift naturally. But most people try to manifest from conflict. They say they want love but feel unworthy of it. They visualize success but carry the identity of failure. They affirm abundance but secretly fear not having enough. These opposing frequencies create interference within the neuronal field, the energy pattern your brain emits, and that interference distorts the signal you send into the matrix. It's like trying to play a song on the radio while two stations overlap. What you hear isn't clear, and what you broadcast doesn't reach its destination. Grinberg explained that resistance is the real reason manifestation often fails. Resistance shows up as doubt, fear, guilt, or disbelief. It hides behind the words, "I'm trying." It's the quiet inner voice saying, "This won't work," even while you visualize the dream. Every time you feel that contradiction, your consciousness sends two different messages to the lattice. One that says, "I want this," and another that says, "I don't believe it's mine." The result is confusion in the field, and reality reflects that confusion back to you. In Grinberg's view, your neuronal field must resonate clearly with the energy pattern of what you want to experience. If you desire something but feel resistance, your field becomes unstable and can't hold that new pattern long enough to create it. That's why so many people see small synchronicities or temporary changes, but then everything fades. Their signal was strong for a moment, but not sustained through inner coherence. This brings us to one of Grinberg's most important insights: identity. Your self-image is the foundation of every manifestation. You can't create a reality that contradicts who you believe you are. If you want success but your identity is built on struggle, your consciousness will unconsciously recreate struggle again and again. If you want love but see yourself as unlovable, the field will keep mirroring relationships that confirm that belief. Grinberg's theory shows that reality doesn't respond to words or effort. It responds to structure, the structure of your consciousness. The moment your identity shifts, your external world begins to rearrange itself. Manifestation isn't about adding new thoughts, it's about becoming a new pattern of being. When you are the frequency of abundance, the field doesn't need convincing, it simply reflects that back. So the real work is not in repeating affirmations, but in reshaping the way your consciousness interacts with the matrix. It's about cleaning the distortion inside your field, the fear, the unworthiness, the inner conflicts, so that your energy becomes unified and clear. When that happens, manifestation stops being effort and starts being a natural expression of who you are. Jacobo Grinberg's research points to a profound truth. We are not separate from the universe we're trying to change. We are the universe shaping itself through consciousness. Every thought is a wave in the same ocean that builds galaxies and minds. To manifest is to learn how to ride those waves consciously through alignment, coherence, and inner transformation. The more your inner state matches the reality you seek, the less you'll need to chase anything, because reality itself begins to flow in rhythm with you. There's a common misunderstanding when it comes to manifestation, that you either need to take massive action or simply align your energy and wait for things to appear. Some people push and grind endlessly, believing that the universe only helps those who hustle. Others retreat into the world of meditation and visualization, convincing themselves that feeling good is enough. But Jacobo Grinberg revealed a deeper truth. Real creation happens when action and alignment merge. It's not about choosing one over the other. It's about learning how both flow together as one coherent process. Grinberg taught that consciousness interacts with reality through an energetic field, a matrix that responds not just to what we think, but to the total vibration of our being. Action without inner alignment sends out a scattered signal. It's like trying to row a boat against the current. You can move, but every stroke feels heavy. There's resistance because your energy isn't synchronized with your direction. You're forcing, not flowing. On the other hand, alignment without any action is like sitting in that same boat, imagining yourself sailing across the sea while never touching the oar. You may feel peaceful for a while, but nothing changes on the surface. The key, according to Grinberg's insight, is aligned action, action that comes from an inner state of coherence, not from fear or desperation. When your consciousness is attuned to the field, the steps you take are guided by a kind of intuitive intelligence. They feel natural, sometimes even effortless. Instead of forcing reality, you become a participant in its unfolding. This is the true art of manifestation, moving with the rhythm of the field, rather than trying to bend it by willpower alone. Most people think they're acting with purpose, but they're actually reacting from fear. They take steps not because they're inspired, but because they're anxious to make something happen. That anxiety changes the frequency of the field. Every action born from doubt carries the vibration of "this isn't working." Grinberg's missing link reminds us that before taking any step, the inner signal must be clear. The thought, emotion, and energy behind the action must be coherent with the outcome you desire. When this happens, action becomes an extension of consciousness, not a compensation for lack of faith. So how can we begin to apply this missing link in daily life? The process starts with awareness. You can't align with the field if you're not aware of what's inside your own mind. Awareness means noticing the beliefs that contradict your desires, the emotional habits that block your energy, and the stories that quietly sabotage you. These patterns exist in the subconscious, shaping your neuronal field without your knowledge. Once you see them clearly, you can begin to change the way your energy interacts with the matrix. After awareness comes the step of shifting your self-image. Grinberg's work showed that your brain and consciousness constantly generate patterns that match the identity you hold. So if your self-image is built on struggle, you'll unconsciously attract experiences that confirm that struggle. Shifting self-image means practicing the feeling of already being the version of yourself who lives your desired reality. It's not pretending, it's embodying. You align your neuronal field with the frequency of that future version until it becomes your natural state. Next, learn to cultivate neutrality. This may sound strange in a world obsessed with constant positivity, but neutrality is a powerful state of creation. When you're neutral, you stop fighting against what is and stop grasping for what isn't. You create an open channel in your consciousness. The lattice responds best when there's no emotional turbulence, no inner war between wanting and fearing. In neutrality, the field becomes clear enough to reflect your intention without distortion. From that calm openness, it becomes easy to take inspired action. This is action that feels aligned, light, and meaningful. It's not forced. It's not born from impatience or panic. You might suddenly feel a pull to call someone, start a new project, or make a decision that logically makes no sense but feels right. Those impulses come from coherence, your consciousness communicating with the universal matrix. When you act on them, you're following the natural flow of manifestation instead of trying to control it. Finally, you must learn to trust the process. Grinberg often hinted that consciousness and reality interact in subtle, non-linear ways. It's not instant. There's a delay between the moment you align and the moment reality reflects that alignment. This is where most people lose faith. They start strong, meditate, visualize, act in flow for a few days or weeks. Then when results don't show up fast enough, they assume it's not working. Their energy collapses back into doubt and the alignment is broken. From Grinberg's view, that impatience is the exact vibration that disrupts creation. Reality takes time to reassemble itself around your new state. Consciousness must hold the pattern long enough for the lattice to stabilize it. So if you give up too soon, it's like switching off a projector while the image is still forming. The light was shaping the picture, but you turned it off before it appeared. This is why consistency and patience are not optional. They are the bridge between the inner and outer world. Manifestation isn't magic. It's physics at the level of consciousness. The field needs stability. The clearer and longer you maintain alignment, the more real it becomes in the material plane. That's why it's not about trying harder, it's about staying aligned longer. And yet, people keep falling for myths that keep them stuck. One of the biggest is the idea that just visualize and you'll get it. Visualization without internal alignment is like painting on water. The image dissolves the moment you stop focusing. Visualization works only when it's backed by emotional truth and self-belief. You must feel it as natural, not force it as fantasy. Another myth says you have to keep your vibration high all the time. But from Grinberg's perspective, it's not about constant euphoria. It's about stable coherence. You don't need to jump between emotional highs and lows. What the matrix responds to is steadiness, the consistent frequency of clarity and openness. A calm, centered mind is more powerful than a constantly hyped one. Then there's the myth that if it hasn't happened yet, you did something wrong. This belief breeds guilt and fear, which only strengthen resistance. From Grinberg's lens, if something hasn't shown up yet, it doesn't mean failure. It means the internal field is still adjusting. The neuronal patterns are still forming a coherent resonance with the lattice. You're in the process of alignment, not punishment. Instead of judging yourself, you check your inner state. You refine your beliefs, bring your emotions back to center, and allow the field to synchronize. Every moment you choose patience over frustration, you deepen the connection. Every time you act from calm trust instead of fear, you strengthen the signal. That's the real work. Not chasing the result, but mastering your internal frequency. When consciousness and action move as one, manifestation stops being a struggle. The external world begins to reflect your inner flow, like a mirror reflecting light. Grinberg's teachings invite us to move beyond the duality of do or be. The highest creation is not either or, it's both. It's being so internally aligned that your actions become extensions of your consciousness. You don't force, you express. You don't chase, you allow. The more coherence you build inside, the more effortless your movement in the world becomes. And when you live this way, life starts to rearrange itself around you. Opportunities appear where there were none. People show up at the right time. The next step seems to find you. This isn't coincidence. It's consciousness in motion. It's Jacobo Grinberg's principle of the synergic process working through you. The field responds because you're no longer separate from it. You've stopped asking reality to change and started becoming the change itself. So the secret is simple, but profound. Take action from alignment, not from fear. Align your inner frequency, then move with purpose. Stay consistent, stay aware, stay open. The universe doesn't reward struggle. It responds to coherence. When you understand this, you stop trying to make manifestation happen. You simply let it unfold through you, naturally, because you and the field are now speaking the same language. The real reason your manifestations don't work isn't because the universe is ignoring you or because you're doing it wrong. It's because something far more subtle, yet far more powerful, has been missing: your inner condition. Jacobo Grinberg's research and wisdom point us to this missing link. Manifestation isn't just about wanting, visualizing, or taking action. It's about the total alignment of your consciousness, your self-image, and your connection with the underlying field of reality. Every thought, every belief, And every emotional pattern is part of your energetic signature. This signature interacts constantly with the universal matrix that Grinberg described, a field of infinite information and energy that mirrors your internal state. When your inner world is fragmented, when doubt battles with desire, when fear competes with faith, the field reflects that incoherence. That's why some people visualize for years and still see no real change, because their inner signal is distorted. But the moment you begin to harmonize your inner world, the external world begins to follow. The journey is not about trying harder. It's about becoming more coherent. The missing link has always been within your alignment with the consciousness that actually shapes reality. This means that manifestation isn't about chasing results outside you, but transforming what's happening inside you. Your self-image, your emotional tone, and your sense of worth all determine the quality of your connection to the field. You can't create abundance from lack or love, from unworthiness or freedom from fear. You must become the vibration of what you seek. So as you reach this point in the video, ask yourself honestly, am I just visualizing, or am I truly aligning? Am I affirming new desires, while secretly holding on to the same old identity? Because until your self-concept expands, your reality cannot. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your being, and your being is shaped by what you believe about yourself and your connection to everything that exists. This is your invitation, not to try another technique, not to chase another method, but to commit to real inner transformation. Start observing your patterns. Notice where your energy contracts. Become aware of the moments you speak your intention, but feel something different beneath it. That's where the real work begins. It's not glamorous, it's internal, but this is what Grinberg called the science of consciousness. Understanding that every shift within you reorganizes the very structure of the field around you. When you bring your whole being, your consciousness, your identity, and your action into alignment, something beautiful happens. The process of manifestation becomes effortless. You stop fighting with reality and start co-creating with it. You stop forcing and start allowing. Life begins to move in rhythm with your deepest intention. You begin to notice synchronicities, moments of perfect timing, and doors opening where there were only walls before. That's not coincidence. That's the field responding to your coherence.
And the best part?
You don't have to wait for something out there to change before you feel aligned. You can begin right now by shifting the way you see yourself, by releasing resistance, by trusting that consciousness is already shaping your path. Every thought of love, clarity, and belief strengthens your connection. Every acting in alignment reinforces that flow. You become a living bridge between the invisible and the visible, between potential and form. So, if you've been struggling to manifest your desires, let this be your reminder. The power was never lost. It was only misaligned. Bring it home into presence, into coherence, into conscious creation, because when your mind, heart, and action move together, the universe has no choice but to respond. If this message resonates with you and you're ready to deepen your understanding of consciousness, manifestation, and the science behind reality creation, then make this your next inspired action. Like this video, share it with someone who's ready to awaken their inner power, and subscribe to our channel, Awaken Synchronicity, for more insights inspired by Jacobo Grinberg's revolutionary work. Every week we explore new ways to reprogram the mind, align with the field, and live from a state of awakened creation. So don't just listen, commit to becoming the conscious architect of your reality. Because when you align your inner condition with your desired reality, manifestation is no longer a struggle. It becomes a natural expression of who you truly are. Remember, reality doesn't respond to effort. It responds to alignment, and once you live from that truth, everything begins to flow.